Peggy 16.
To me, what makes combat fun is to have a number of dynamic elements that come together in a cohesive way, allowing mastery and improvisation. With the Hiss, the strange supernatural force that has invaded the place, it has affected or taken over aspects of the building, including some of the objects as well, and it will use anything it can to destroy the things that are trying to stop it. With the service weapon, it was important to me that we find this idea of a supernatural weapon that the director wields and move away from thinking that the director would carry, let's say, an arsenal of different guns with her.
The weapon that was the most challenging to get right and really feeling good was the very first weapon in the game, the revolver. There are some games that have really good feeling pistols, and I wanted to make sure that we had that same sense of empowerment when you have the first weapon in the game. It's not a tool that gets old and useless very quickly. It's something that you can keep coming back to, and it's more about accuracy.
What we're really hoping is that the different forms provide an option to the player that they really enjoy, and they look to kind of create their own builds with the particular weapon forms that they're taking in. So basically have options for whatever the game throws at them.
I love being able to kind of sneak into a room and look at the way the enemies are setting themselves up, and then kind of analyze the situation and then pick my gear and then kind of surgically start removing enemies at the beginning of the encounter, and then, you know, go straight into my abilities and my heavier weapons and things like that. So it's kind of cool to be able to see how the setup is working and then choose your stuff.
What I love to do is use slam from levitation to get close. Then I like to couple that with the pierce, which is the weapon form which is like medium range, and it can actually go through the different objects and obstacles. So if there's an enemy hiding behind a barrier, I can just blast through that barrier and take out the enemy at the same time. With the boss fights, we wanted to be a stronger connection between the actual kind of combat experience you have through the game normally, and then use the conceptual ideas that you learned through the normal game that you then utilize in boss fights as well.
One of the most powerful enemies in the game, I would say, is what we call the Tempest. The Tempest is a larger enemy that can bring up a very strong shield of debris. And then you have to time your attacks against, has it dropped its shield, or is it getting ready to throw things and made itself vulnerable?
As Jesse, you have a number of different interesting complicated abilities.
We wanted it to feel really grounded in reality, that this is something that you could walk into a room and really see this happening and you would believe it.
You have to make strategic decisions on the fly as you're playing the game, and you see what is happening, and then you decide, okay, this guy has a shield, but wait, there's also another enemy up there, so I have to bring up my shield and then maybe protect myself.
We wanted to find a balance with the shield where it gives you a feeling of protection, but at the same time we didn't want to lose the dynamic aspect of the game.
We've been really working hard in tuning the shield to really feel nice, especially against bullets. And just that combination is so much fun to just get different, ways of approaching enemies. Another one is using, like when I'm levitating, I can evade and then pick up launch objects and then throw them back at the enemies, and that fluidity of using our different abilities feels really nice.
For example, here I have an enemy who has a shield, so if I shoot it with my weapon, it will take less damage, but if you use your abilities, he's much more vulnerable to it, so it will destroy his shield right away.
There are ways to acquire these powers, as Jessie does, by binding these objects to herself. So she's basically tapping into these objects that have been affected by supernatural forces and through that she's able to unlock these powers within herself.
Right now, my favorite ability is probably Seize, because you can gain control of an enemy and then have them fight on your side. And so when you can actually seize a larger enemy that can also pick up objects and throw them, suddenly you've got a tank on your side and they're just wrecking everything in their path. It's almost like you can watch a fight between two big champions and you want to see who's going to win.